Hello Kingdom people, and welcome back to this video. So someone asked me the question, how long should you be in a relationship before getting married? How long do you need to get to know someone before you decide to say, okay, we have courted enough, we are now ready to get married? I think the answer is simple. If you're not ready to marry within the next few months, you have no business being in a relationship. I'm going to repeat that for clarity. If you're not ready to get married within the next few months, you have no business being in a relationship. Few months already makes it clear that the maximum number of few months you can have is 12. So technically, the answer is 1 year, because people are not degree programs that you need 3 years to study them. Nor people's emotions just some kind of toy you can just have spot dating with. So if you have been in a relationship for more than 12 months and you still have no clue of when you're settling down, then my question for you is, what is the purpose of that relationship? The fact is, to prepare for marriage, you don't need that long to actually know someone. If you spend time working on yourself before you meet the right person and assuming they were doing the same thing, then like what you see in scripture, you just need a brief period of time to iron out some certain things before you actually get married. So any courtship that goes beyond the 12 months period starts moving back into the worldly and satanic concept of dating. And I'm going to tell you exactly why that is very dangerous. Because the dating complex has multiplied exponentially the number of broken, wounded, distrusting, and unstable people in our society today. And broken people create broken marriages. Broken marriages produce broken children that are unable to adapt to society, hence all the crime and chaos we see in the world. It's really confusing to me when I see people who have been in a relationship for say 3, 5, 7 or even more years with no end or future in sight. What is the purpose of that relationship? One of the main reasons why such extended relationships are very dangerous is because dating is like gambling. And in gambling, the more you win, the higher the stakes, meaning that the longer you stay in the game, the more you have to lose. So if you lost the game very early on, the pain and what you have lost will be nothing compared to the money you lose after playing for an extended period of time. But if you decide to quit the game and cash in early enough, then you kind of consolidate and protect and preserve what you have won that far. So it's the same thing with dating, just that in dating, it's not money, but it's your emotions. The more you spend time with someone, the more bonds you're creating with that person. And bonds, when they become thick enough, become very difficult to break or to recover from breaking them. So the earliest you can consolidate the few bonds you have created with someone by securing that in the marriage covenant, then the safer it is for you. But compared to going for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years creating bonds with someone just to have those bonds broken, that means you have lost the game. Many people go on through life with headaches and pain and wounds that they literally never healed from. But of course, there are always exceptions. Don't get me wrong. Before you come in the comments and throw stones at me and say, hey, how long did you cut before getting married? There are times you can extend and exceed the 1 year period because of force majeure. What I define as force majeure are just circumstances beyond your control. So if you have no plans on getting married soon, you have no business being in a relationship. But you can get into a relationship, in other words, courtship, with a plan to get married, and something beyond your control comes up. Maybe there is a disagreement with the parents. Maybe there is a requirement that one party completes something, perhaps finishes school before things can progress. That is very different, and perhaps you should have taken that into consideration before you went back. But apart from that, it's best to protect your heart from unnecessary pain and disappointment. People who listen to this so far and still resist it are people who think of relationships as just something for pleasure. I always say only the most selfish use relationships for mere pleasure, and only the most insecure cannot imagine life without being in a relationship. Look at this exercise. Think about it. I've broken down in a relationship, in dating as the world knows it, that leads to nowhere with no objective, no future. There are always just 3 categories of people you're going to see in that. The first one is the lustful, the people who are there just seeking adventure and pleasure to satisfy their lustful desires. And this can come from both parties. And the second is the financially desperate. In our context, we generally think of that as women, but even men now are just in relationships relationships because they expect the partner to meet their financial needs. And then the third, which is what we're typically seeing with this young generation, is the insecure. People who are so insecure that they cannot imagine just being by themselves. So they feel like by themselves they are not enough. So they need to boost their self-image or self-esteem by being, in quotes, in a relationship with someone, perhaps trying to date someone cool so that perhaps they may look cool. But as you can see, all those three categories are not scriptural. The scriptures tell us to pursue purity and not lust. And if you have financial difficulties, it's more responsible to work to get your financial life stable than depend on another person or sell your body. Because as we've come to see in this time, much of what we call, in quotes, dating is just glorified prostitution. And then speaking of insecurities, if you feel insecure in any area of your life, it's your responsibility to get to work on that, to boost yourself, to grow yourself, to develop your mind and your psychology. If you're miserable, work on yourself. Don't go around looking for someone to share that misery with. So if you're not ready for marriage or have any plans on marrying very immediately soon, then be by yourself, invest your youthful energy in laying down the foundation for the life that you want to live. Get comfortable with your own company, work on yourself, become someone better, trusting that the person that is meant for you is also working on themselves wherever they are. And the moment you meet each other, you won't need years of studying each other to know that you are the right fit and the right match. And when the time comes and you're ready, cut for a few months and settle down. And this simple knowledge right here is going to save a whole lot of people from headaches and trouble for the rest of their lives. You're welcome. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. A big shout out to our patrons for helping us create content like this. You too can support the channel. The link is down below. I am Budaj Jumesi from Wisdom for Dominion. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.